welcome to Turn the Page, the official podcast of the Syosset Public Library.
Hi, this is Evelyn Hershkowitz, Reader Services Librarian, Syosset Public Library, Turn the Page podcast. And today we are lucky to have with us Ashley Elston. Ashley, you might all know, is a New York Times #1 best-selling author of her very first adult fiction book called First Lie Wins. I'm just going to read a little bit about Ashley, and then we'll start talking to her. She is the author, like I just said, of the #1 New York Times bestseller and Reese Book Club pick, First Lie Wins. First Lie Wins has been optioned for television by ABC Signature with Octavia Spencer attached to the project. She's also the author of 6 YA books, and Ashley lives in Louisiana with her husband and 3 sons. So thank you, Ashley, for joining us.
Thank you for having me. I'm excited to be here.
You're very, very welcome. So her new book, which comes out on January 13th, is called Anatomy of an Alibi. It is twisty and turny, and I don't know how you kept it all straight. So tell everybody what it's about.
It is about, so Anatomy of an Alibi is about 2 women who have the same problem, Ben, and they meet under interesting circumstances. It's kind of hard to say what it's about without spoiling. They meet under interesting circumstances and decide to work together, even though they're strangers, in finding out what Ben did and how they can sort of make things right. But then, things do not go as planned, and they find themselves in a bit of trouble.
Right. I mean, there's the main characters of Ben, Camille, his wife, Hank, his partner, and Aubrey. Describe Aubrey.
Aubrey is, someone who has had a very tragic past in living in a circumstance in which she's just trying to survive. And then sort of, this moment drops in her lap where she can sort of make things right. And so she grabs it, and she lives sort of in, a house that's multi-unit house. It's split up, and there's a bunch of, sort of petty criminals that live there with her, but have become sort of her found family. And they really come together for her when she needs it.
So how did you arrive at this plot and this book and the twists and the turns, and how did this all come to you?
Every book comes in a different way for me. And this one was a lot of little things. So I was really sort of fascinated with the Murdaugh trial in South Carolina several years ago, and the idea that, he and his family, sort of ran that town and got away with murder and murder and murder, because they had people in the right places. It was a small town. They had a lot of money. But then, his tech gave him up, his GPS on his car, his phone. I mean, they had things in the trial where they knew that he was talking on the phone for a couple of minutes, but he was walking in a circle, how many steps he took. And just the fact that that tech gave him up like that, and how, and how it's almost a red flag if you don't have your location. Like if you go a certain amount of time and you don't have a watch that has your beats per minute, and your phone with your location, and all of the things that you normally do, that's almost looks sort of, more of a red flag than if you do. Like, who doesn't have something to show where they are? And so it's the idea of sort of trying to get around the tech that I was really intrigued with. How would you get around the tech? You need somebody being you but not you. That it doesn't matter anymore, the alibi. They don't have to look like you. They just need to go to Chick-fil-A and order your same order. And, those kind of things that would say, well, yeah, that's her. She always orders this or whatever. So that was part of it. Then I'd gone to St. Francisville a couple years ago and fell in love with that little small town. And we ended up going to there's a maximum security prison that has a rodeo for the inmates. And it is disturbing and intriguing, and I sat there watching it, and I was like, I don't think if I told anybody this, they would believe that this was actually a real thing unless you were here. And it was, so I was like, well, how could I use that? Because it was just so crazy and strange, but I don't know. So it was a lot of very different things that I wanted to do in a book, and just sort of was able to weave them all together, I guess.
So the rodeo was open to the public?
Oh yeah, you go. It's every Sunday in October, and it's huge. It is exactly like I explained in the book. And there's the rodeo side, there's the arts and crafts side. We bought things made by inmates, leather goods. It's fascinating. It's
Wow.
fascinating.
How far
And
is that from your home?
it's near Baton Rouge, so I'm about 3.5 hours. I'm about 3.5 hours from Baton
Oh,
Rouge.
okay.
We'd gone down to Baton Rouge for LSU game, and we had gone to St. Francisville, and we'd gone. I mean, we made a big weekend out of it, and I just left there feeling like this has to be the setting. Like I don't know what I'm gonna do, but this was just so the small St. Francisville, which is just really a posh little town with lots of shopping, expensive shops, and then it's 20 miles down the road from the maximum security Angola prison. I don't know. I was just like, there's something here, and I've got to figure out how to make it all work.
And do you plan this? I mean, did you know where the story was going to go? Did you know who the killer was? Did you?
No,
Oh,
I no,
I hope I just
actually,
didn't give anything away.
no, I really, I mean, I started with, this book was a struggle to write, for a lot of reasons. One, it's hard to write after the success of First Law Wins. I had
Mhm.
never had a book have that kind of success, and it was all very self-inflicted pressure, but it was pressure I felt to live up to that book, to make those readers happy, that I wanted them to love it as much. But then how do you write something that's gonna be as loved as that is? Because I feel like it was sort of a lightning in the bottle kind of moment. And so, it was hard. And then, of course, I had to go make the most complicated plot ever, which was, not easy. And so I rewrote the book 3 different times. And every time, it just started, it was going to be one point of view and everything was going to be from her. And I was like, okay, this is not working. And so then it was going to be Aubrey. And then I added Camille. And I was like, okay, well, this is a lot better. But then I was like, no, I need Hank. I mean, I've got to have
Mhm.
Hank in there. And so, it just kept evolving on me because the hardest part was trying to decide the structure of this book and the timeline and when to give away the things you needed to give away and how to do it in a way that's not too confusing. That was the real struggle with this. And then every time I redid it, it got better and it got twistier and there were more turns because I sort of opened the door to things that had not been there for me before, that a new point of view gave me, or a new timeline spot gave me. And so it was definitely sort of an evolution. um
From start to finish, how
from
long does
start
it
to
take a
finish.
book to get
I
published?
started this. I had the idea for this before First Law Winds came out, and knew that it would be my next book, and talked to my publisher about it. And that was probably in October of 23.
Okay.
And then, we had final draft this past summer. But I mean, this one was more than my normal books. This one was a lot more drafts, a lot more changes, than any of my other books.
Well, First Lie Wins was excellent. Everybody absolutely loved it here. We are doing a book discussion on February 3rd of First Lie Wins at night. So everybody who's listening, please get your books. They'll be available at the circulation desk for everybody.
Okay.
I want to know what it was like when you got the call from Reese's people telling you that your book was going to be a book club pick for her.
It was, I mean, very unexpected because it came kind of late. I mean, I guess it wasn't late as when they do it, but in my mind, I thought, well, it was like October and the book was coming out in January, and I just thought that they would have already made their picks by then. And so when my editor called and she's like, "Are you sitting down?" I was like, yes. I was like, oh gosh, what is this? And that none of that was on my radar. And she's like, well, we got the Reese pick. And I was like, what? I mean, it took me a minute to be like, wait, I don't understand what you're saying, because it just did not feel like it was possible. And so then they're like, but you can't tell anybody. I mean, like nobody, like it's a big secret. And I was like, oh yeah, no, sure. And they're like, not even your husband. I was like, sure, no problem. Of course, I get off. I was like, oh my God, of course,
Right.
I'm
That's a
not.
hard secret to
It
keep.
is. I was like, but don't tell anybody. And so, I mean, it was fine. I mean, I know they just didn't want you to be like public about it. So I did tell those closest around, because then they're like, we need pictures and we need videos and you need to write this thing. And there's a lot of things that you do to prepare for that. And I was like, oh, I need to talk to somebody. I need some help, and I need my friends. What am I going to wear, for my videos? And so, yeah, it was super fun. It was super fun. And it was a game changer. I mean, I'd been writing for 10 years. I'd already had 6 books. This would be my seventh book. And, everybody's like, your debut. I was like, I mean, yes, but also I have 6 books. I mean, like it's my adult debut, but I've been doing this a long time. And so it was really an incredible experience.
What did you want? What did you do before you were an author?
I was a wedding photographer.
And how did that contribute to you writing books?
Oh, if you would have asked me sort of in the beginning, I would have thought, well, those are just two different ways of storytelling. But honestly, I think the photography helped me, especially wedding photography, helped me in ways that I probably couldn't pinpoint until you sort of deeper into my author career. Because as a wedding photographer, all you do is watch people. You watch people
Right.
all the whole time. You watch them getting dressed. What's the mom doing? Oh, do I need to get a picture of that? How would I frame it? What's the background? Who's around? Oh, we're at the reception. Is there something interesting? Oh, wait, dad's dancing with the bride. Oh, mother of the groom's dancing with the groom. Let me take it. Oh, what's happening in the back of it? I mean, you're watching, you're watching, and you see those dynamics play out. You see the relationships. I mean, some are good and some are not so good. Some are like, oh
Mhm.
gosh, bless her with that mother-in-law. Some of it is just, you have a front row seat, but you just watch. But it's also, like I said, the framing, how then I'm going to tell the story in the wedding album. How am I going, how many pictures, of the ceremony? That's a big part. So we got to put a lot of emphasis there. There's other things that need to be included, but they're not as important. And the same goes for a book, making those tough decisions. Like, what is the important part? What do I focus on? What gets the limelight, the shine, the brightness, that kind of thing. And so I think it made me, and I think I write in a way I visualize it first, almost like I'm taking a photograph of the scene and I think about the whole scene and what that scene looks like. I hope the setting comes across like a character and the place comes across like a
Mhm.
character. So I think, the wedding photography sort of made me the writer I am. I don't know that
Sure.
I would have been this writer without the photography first.
Is that something you always thought of doing, or just
I
becoming
didn't,
an
I
author?
didn't, I didn't know I wanted to be a photographer, and I didn't know I wanted to be a writer.
Okay.
I got out of college and got married and got a desk job. Worked at Merrill Lynch, and it was a 9 to 5, and sit at the desk and at the computer, and it was soul sucking for me. Like it was not for me, and photography was a hobby. I was always the kid with the camera, and I was always the kid with the book. I mean, I was taking a picture or I was reading, and so. Um, there was somebody at our office that her daughter was getting married and they had no money. I mean, it was just a very small wedding and they were not going to have a photographer. And I was just like, well, gosh, I mean, I'll come take some pictures for you. I mean, whatever I do is better than nothing.
Right.
And she was like, oh my gosh, would you? I was like, yes. And so I did it and they were actually pretty good. And then somebody else in the office saw them. They're like, well, my daughter, and I was like, well, maybe I could do this. And so I was not a formally trained photographer. I was a hobbyist that
Wow, good for you.
loved it. And so I used that as my way to get out of my desk job.
Hmm.
So, and it was a great career when I had my kids were little because my husband worked during the week. I could be at home. Weddings are on the weekends. I had to
Right.
go to the wedding. He kept the kids, so it was great. It was only when the kids started getting older they would have soccer games on a Saturday or a birthday party, and I was starting to miss those things because
Hmm.
I had been booked a year in advance. And I mean,
Sure.
you can't be like, "Hey, today's not a great day for me. Can we, do this wedding next week?" And so I had my third son, and I was going to take a break, and then I started writing, which was again, I think I missed that creative outlet from the photography. I was home with the baby. The other two were at school because I had kind of a gap between number two and number three, and um, I don't know, I started writing and then I was like, I don't know, maybe, I don't know, can I be a writer? And so it was, again, not anything I thought I could do. Um, but then, it did. So,
Wow, good for you. And to have your first adult novel be
yes,
picked up by Reese is just amazing. And then
it is
what's
amazing.
the story with the option for television?
Okay, so that's way complicated. And I did not
Okay.
realize how complicated that world was until you get knee deep in it. We are still optioned, but it is not with the same group and it's
Oh,
not public. The change is not public yet, but
okay.
and it was nothing, it was nothing, Octavius Group could not have been better to me. We tried really hard. They tried, I think we were optioned for 4 years with them and got close a lot of times. And, Hollywood is just a weird thing. New people come in and things change, and all of a sudden a project that has priority is sort of put on the back burner, and we timed out, is really
Uh,
what happened. And so at that point, I was like, oh, well, I guess that was it. And then next thing I know, I have meetings the next week that other people want to option it. And I was like, oh, so we got re-optioned rather quickly. And I think they're waiting to announce. I don't know. I don't know. I'm whatever. Y'all tell me what to do, what to say. But we are optioned. It is
very
just
nice.
in a different scenario.
Okay, congratulations.
Well, thank you.
Do you think you'll write
It
the
is not-
screenplay?
No,
No.
I know what I'm good at, and that is not it.
Okay.
I can I don't my brain doesn't work like that. That's a whole different type of writing. And honestly, I don't know that I would want to go back and revisit First Law Wins like
Okay.
that. You have to cut, and it's really, it's set the scene in dialogue, and I don't know if I could cut it. I don't know if I'm the one to do that. Like, I think you need somebody that's not probably as emotionally attached to it as I would be
Right, right.
to do that.
Yeah. But a lot of times when Reese picks her book for her book club, she also makes it a television or a miniseries.
Mhm.
So
It's
I
not
don't know
her.
if it's not
It's
her.
not her.
Okay.
It's
That's too
not her.
bad because
It's okay. I'm
she's
telling you, I'm very happy where it landed. It
okay
is
because she's
it's
pretty quick at
exciting.
getting those books into movies and
She is.
television shows.
She is.
She's
She
really
is.
quick.
It is. She
She's
is.
amazing.
And I'm very happy with where it landed. And
Okay, good luck. I wish you a lot of luck on
thank
that
you.
one.
Thank you.
I did listen to the audiobook for Anatomy of an Alibi. And what I love, books that have a full cast. And this
Yes.
one does. There's four different narrators, Ben, Camille, Hank, and Aubrey, all have their own narrators, which was
Yes.
it's fabulous.
This is my first time to get a full cast narration, so it
Hmm.
was very exciting for me too. And we were really lucky to get Saskia back, who narrated First Lie Wins.
Okay,
She narrated Camille's part,
right. And
and I
then
was
we have McLeod Andrews.
yes, he's Hank, I believe, right?
Okay, and Amanda Stribling
Yes,
and
that
Dan Bittner.
yes. And so, they send me audition tapes, and the ones that narrated it, just the second I heard their audition, I was like, that's it. That's it. Especially Hank. I loved that one. I thought that voice was
Yeah, Hank
really
was great.
good. It was so good. And so it was very exciting to just feel like, okay, yeah, these are the voices to these characters.
That was a lot for you to pick four different people.
I know. Well, luckily Saskia was like a done deal. We were like, we know we want her. I want her as Camille, done. So it was really just the three. So
Right.
it was very exciting because I've never had that before. So that was
Okay.
good.
Are your young adult books also out in audiobook?
They are.
Oh,
They
okay.
are. What's really interesting is my first two YA books never got an audio until First Light Winds came out. And I guess they had a lot of readers come to it after that.
Right.
And so their audio is new. Like they just did those, which I think is fascinating because those books are more than 10 years old.
Wow. Okay. Well, the book, we have it on order and there's already holds on the book
Oh, amazing.
and it'll be available on Overdrive in both ebook and audiobook.
Love
So,
that. I love
yeah,
that. Thank you.
you're very, very welcome. We're happy to do that. Absolutely. So, are you going on tour for this book?
I am. It starts on the 13th with I'll have a my hometown launch here locally, and then I hit the road, and I'm in Louisiana the first week. I'm in here in Shreveport, my hometown, and then I go to New Orleans and I go to St. Francisville, where the book is partially set. They have a great bookstore there called the Conundrum. So we'll be there. And then I'm in the Carolinas the next week with my friend Megan Miranda. We're on the road together.
Oh, how
She's going to
nice.
be moderating. We're going to Raleigh and Greenville, South Carolina, and then back to Charlotte. And so she'll do all three of those events with me, and I get to come home for the weekend. And then I'm out back again for a final week, and I'm in Atlanta, Charleston, DC, and St. Louis.
Wow.
Yeah.
Good for
It's
you. Did you
gonna be
do
fun.
this for First Lie Wins? Did you have a
I
full?
didn't immediately because they were like, let's let the Reese machine do its thing, and it did. And then they ended up, and then the book kind of kept selling. I think everybody was so surprised about what it did that they ended up sending me out on tour like 2 or 3 months later because they were
Oh,
like, well,
wow.
let's just keep going. And I was like, okay. And so I did, but it was not at release. It was later.
Amazing. That book is just I mean,
Oh,
it
it
was
is.
a great.
I think everybody's been really, I mean, I think everybody was, I mean, hope that it would do well, but I think everybody was really very surprised at what it did. I mean,
Mhm.
me especially.
But that's good. It's a good
Yes,
surprise.
oh, it is. It's a good surprise. It's hard to write a follow-up to that, but it's
Mhm.
a great
Yeah.
surprise.
Yeah. So in First Lie Wins, her name is Evie.
It is.
Okay, my name is I spell it the same way, Evie, but I pronounce it Evie.
How you pronounce it. And
Yeah,
I get asked that a lot, and in my mind, it didn't even occur to me that it would be said any other way. I just look at it and I say Evie, even though
right,
it's Evelyn, which is not the
right,
same.
which is my name.
Yes. And so I was like Evie, and then two people started asking me. I was like, oh, I didn't even realize it could have been something else. So,
Yeah, I did a whole display on books with the character's name of Evie and Evelyn.
oh, really?
There are so many. You
Are
can't
they?
even believe the amount. So how did you come upon that name? What made you use it?
I don't know. Names are hard, especially for your main characters. It's hard. And she had a lot of names in that book. And so, I had to come up with a lot of names for her, but I don't know. I liked Evie. I liked Evie. And then I was like, well, it's got to be short for something. It's Evelyn. I mean, so I started with the nickname and went to the full name. But
Mhm.
I start looking at baby name websites, and something will just sort of speak to me, and I'm like, I think this is who she is. But she was hard because, like I said, she had like 7 different names in that book or something. So plus the real name, it was a lot of names for her.
Yeah. Also, I didn't mention that this month, Anatomy of an Alibi is the library read favorite.
Oh, is it? I don't know that I've heard
Oh,
that
you
yet.
didn't know about that?
Maybe I did. Yes. Okay. Yeah. No, they did. They did
Yeah.
send me that. That's
Yeah.
amazing. Yeah.
Every month it's librarians, they pick 10 books.
Oh, that's
And
amazing.
yours
Yeah.
is on there as one of the library read favorites. So that's for January of 2026.
Oh, I love that. I
Yeah.
love that.
Do you read your reviews?
I try really hard not to. Sometimes I get tagged on Instagram and I can't help but see it, but I don't go looking for it in at all.
Because just so you know, on Goodreads, it's got a very favorable 4.08, which is very nice.
Oh, that is very nice. Yeah.
Yeah.
I know that
14 over 1,400 reviews already.
really already. Oh wow.
And the book
Um,
hasn't even come out yet.
I know. That's giving me sweats. But no, I know my editor team, and I know they monitor all that, and I know they would tell me if there was something to be concerned about. But it's just they're not for me. Those reviews are not for me. There's nothing to be done. And
Okay.
I used to feel like I had to read every review because it would make me a better writer. But what I found was that there was no way to make everybody. I could read one review where they loved the main character and the next review where they hated her. And I could read one review where they thought the book was slow and the next review would be like, I was on the edge of my seat. This was
Right.
super fast. And I just kept thinking, well, how would I make both of these? I would never make both of these people happy, and also who are they? Maybe I don't like their taste in books. Maybe
Mhm.
their opinion wouldn't be the right opinion for me. And so
Right.
I thought I have my trusted critique partners, I have my editors, I have my agent, and those are the voices that I listen to. And then really at this point, I can't change anything. There's nothing to be done about it. So
It's so subjective. I mean, somebody
very
could be having a bad day when they write a review or,
right.
so you can't go by it.
Well, and they're not for, I think they're great. They're just not for me. They're for the
Hmm.
reader. They're for the reader to find the
Right.
book that
What they
they want.
want.
Hmm.
That's very true. Now, I
Yeah.
heard you said that you have a bunch of other readers that are your friends, that other authors.
I have so Megan Miranda that I mentioned
Hmm.
going on tour with, and then El Casamano is also a longtime friend and critique partner. She's actually doing the event with me in DC.
Okay.
And then Julie Clark,
Oh,
a
very
really good
nice.
friend. And so those are
The
my
Last Flight was a great book.
love
Julie's
that
book.
book. I
Yeah.
love the ghostwriter
I
too.
haven't gotten to that one yet. I would like to read it though.
It's very good. It is very good. So we're all friends and we read for each other, and that's invaluable to me to have that kind of
Hmm.
feedback. It is invaluable.
Absolutely. It's
I feel like
wonderful.
our writing styles are similar. Like I like their stuff. Like it's a trusted and valued opinion, and that's what you need in those moments where you're like, is this working or is it not coming? Like, is what in my head is it coming out like I want it to come out? Because sometimes it's so in your head that you can't see that it's right or wrong. And so anyway, that's invaluable. That sort of help.
So what kind of books do you like to read?
I love mystery thrillers. I have gotten to where that almost feels, it doesn't feel like the escape kind of reading that it used to be because I am now trying to be like, I want to get there before you want me to get there. I'm trying to figure out your twist. It's almost like, not work, but it's almost like not a job, but it's not like like let me just relax and read. So I
Hmm.
do love to read them, but I feel like it's part of the job now, right? And then but I love fantasy, I love sci-fi. Like that's the stuff I read when I want to get out of my own head
Hmm.
or when I've turned a draft of in and I need to just completely like unplug and just sort of refill my own well. I'm not going to read thrillers because that's where my has been. I'm going straight to something so different.
Do you like
That
rom-coms?
I love rom-coms. Yes, I love those. I love everything except just true horror. I don't want to
Hmm.
just be terrified because I will assume whatever is happening is going to happen to me, and I'll never get that out of my head. So, historical. I mean, I'll read lots of different things, but when I really need a break from writing, I will not read a thriller. I'll read something very different.
Sure. That makes total sense. I absolutely get that.
Yes.
What are you working on now?
I am working on something new. I'm at that really like early, like, what is this? What's this going to look like? How's this going to shape up? I think it's similar enough. It's set in the South. It's going to be messy. It's going to be a lot of drama, but I'm at the very early stages of trying to get a feel for what it is.
Hmm.
But I'm also excited. Like it's that fun, like, ooh, what are we gonna do today with it? And so I love a first draft. Those are my absolute favorite part of the process is this part right here, where it is just me and it's just this idea, and every day is I can do whatever I want to do with it. And if I don't like it, I'll change it. And nobody's feet giving me feedback just yet. It's just mine. And so that's where I am with it. And it's fun. It's a fun stage.
What is your writing schedule like? Do you write in the mornings? Do you just write whenever you have
I
time?
write whenever I still have one son at home. He's a junior in high school, so he's pretty independent. But there's still is he home? What's to dinner? Does he have practice? Is their game? And so I'm very flexible. But it's got to hit me. I've got to want to write. I am not. I guess I'm not good enough to have like a schedule. Like it's 8:30 a.m. I now will sit and write for 4 hours. I am not that. I am not that regimented, which is why I was not good at a desk job. And so, sometimes I write in the morning, sometimes I write at night, sometimes, it just when the mood strikes. Now, if I get under a deadline, well then yes, I'm writing like my behind's on fire because I'm probably late. But, in these moments right here, it's just when it hits me.
Hmm. Are you under contract that you have to write another book or?
Yes, I just sold this. I wrote a couple of chapters and kind of gave them a vibe, an idea of what I thought it was going to be. But they know me well enough now that it could probably change pretty drastically. But they seem to like the idea, so they're letting me run with it.
That's great. That's
Yeah.
so being an author has definitely worked for you, huh?
Yes, it has. And everybody's like, how many books you're gonna do? I was like, I guess as long as I have another idea, I'll keep writing them. I mean,
Yeah.
at one point, maybe I won't have any more ideas and that'll be it. And that'll be fine if that's what happens. I did YA for almost 10 years and now I'm adult. And so it feels fresh and new, which is, what I like. I did wedding photography for 10 years. So, I'm not afraid to sort of change, mix
Yeah.
things up. So, but yeah, I'm still loving it. And so I'm gonna stick with it as long as I love it.
Okay, good. And we all are loving your book, so thank
Well,
you.
thank you. Well, thank you so much.
Yeah, and I'm sure that book discussion that we're going to have on February 3rd is going to be great because there's plenty to discuss.
Yes, yes, yes. I
And,
love I love that people are still wanting to read and talk about that book, even
yeah,
after years. That's exciting.
absolutely. Did you
I
write
love
that during the pandemic for Sly Winds?
I started it right at the beginning of the pandemic. I had one son had been in college and was sent home, and then I had a high school senior, and then I had a fifth grader.
Oh,
And everybody was trying to learn how to do online school. in college, high school, and elementary school. I had a college age kid who did not want to be here, and we did not want him here because he did not want to be here. And so
Right.
the challenge I had, one of the poor 2020 graduates who didn't get prom, didn't get graduation, and so he was not super happy to be around either. So I mean, and so that book was sort of like I would just go in my office and just say, I have got to have a break from the madness. And I just really let myself just, what are we going to do today with Evie? And I think I didn't know that anybody would ever be looking at this book. I didn't know what was going to happen with this book. It wasn't my normal thing. It was I knew it was adult. I knew it one way, but I thought, you know what? Nobody's doing anything anyway. We're all stuck at home, and what does it
Right.
matter? And I think it gave me the freedom to really just kind of go a little bit wild with it. And because that was my escape from the great year of 2020.
Yeah, exactly. We were all, it was crazy. Hard to
It
believe that
was
was what, almost 6 years now.
almost 6 years ago. So
Yeah.
yeah.
Well, I'm glad you did
Well,
it
thank
because we
you. I
all
am
loved the
too.
book.
I am too.
Fabulous book. So I want to thank you, Ashley, so much for speaking with us.
Oh my
And
gosh, thank you for having me. This is
and I
amazing.
wish you all the best of success with Anatomy of an Alibi.
Well, thank you.
And we will have it when it comes out. It'll be here for all those listening. You can call now and put it on hold. 'Cause-
Yay.
And
Love it.
also look for it on Overdrive. So,
Amazing.
okay. Thank
Thank
you, Ashley, so much. Have a great day.
thank you too.
And good luck with the tour and everything. So that
I will
sounds like
thank
fun.
Yes, it should be a lot of fun.
Yeah. Okay. I'm going to close this chapter of Turn the Page.
It's time to close this chapter of Turn the Page. Join us for the next episode.